Good morning. Today we're talking about overstimulation. As the only adult in the house, if you're a mom, if you're a single mom, this is for you. Okay, so let's talk about it. What is overstimulation? So it is really that. Like, you are overstimulated. So there's too much stimuli coming at you all at once, all the time. It could be sensory, it could be emotional, it could be physical touch. Like when you're just over it, you're just like, I do not want to be touched, I do not want to be talked to, do not want to hear not a sound out of anyone's mouth in this house. That's overstimulation when you're just like just about had it, okay? Sorry, I'm trying to set up this thing here. So let's talk about it. So, for me, for example, as a single mom, it's become challenging because as the only adult in the house, it's like there's no you can just go away for like a week. Just go away for for the lunchtime. Just go away for dinner time. Cuz somebody else is going to take care of dinner for y'all tonight. So let's be realistic about the access to resources, the access to people. Hello, Emily. You can definitely relate to this, the overstimulation. Because when it comes to being overstimulated at work, being stimulated in social settings, and then in addition to that, also being stimulated at home, whether it's with partners or children, it's a lot. And Charlie, you'll love hearing this because one of the things I want to talk about is clutter and how that all also stimulates our senses, and how not good that is for us. And we need to declutter our homes, clean our homes. I was looking at some pictures that I wanted to share with y'all back in 2018, 19. I didn't find them, but what I did find was how my house looked then. It was cluttered, and that takes up a lot of space. It takes up a lot of mental space, and your senses can feel that. First of all, that's energy, right? That's kind of like clogged up in your house. And then the other one, and if my other phone was functioning, I probably would be okay with showing y'all what it looked like. But I ain't got no time for that right now. I should have set that up before I started the live. All right, so let's get really started. Okay. So let's just begin by saying you are doing great. You are doing amazing at the job that you have, considering the internal and external resources that you currently have. Okay, let's just say that, whether that's resources of people, resources of money, resources of time, resources of space. Because I can say, oh, live clutter free, or like give yourself some time away on a different floor from the kids, but like we have to be realistic about what resources we have to do that. Okay. We can, like I said before, be stimulated due to our sensory, right, our cognitive or emotional systems, and these things are really real in it, and how our nervous system reacts to the messages, like the consistent stuff that's happening around us. Let's acknowledge though that as the only adult in the house, when you're the one that has to kind of like carry all of the responsibility, a lot of the responsibility has to do with keeping your kids alive, right? And you know, fed, house, healthy, what else? Emotionally regulated. As I'm working on my emotional regulation, I also have to be sure that I'm also helping my children practice emotional regulation. I was going to say regulativity, but I don't think that's a word. So there's that responsibility, like the seen responsibility and also the unseen responsibilities. The responsibilities that people see when like we go out to the streets and they see them well and happy and well behaved, but also the other stuff, right? Like the working through behaviors and making sure that they are emotionally stable and emotionally healthy, right? Because I didn't have that growing up, and I don't know if any of you had this growing up, but there was no emotional regulation in my household. It was like, you best not cry about this thing. Like, there was no processing, there was no like giving you tools about, and that's a privilege we have in our generation, to be able to have those resources now, to be able to have conversations with your children about how we regulate emotions, how do we express emotions, what are some things that are healthy to do when you're feeling emotionally emotionally triggered, and what are some things that are not very healthy to do when you're emotionally triggered, and what are some practices that will get you into really unhealthy cycles, and what are some practices that won't. So I myself, it's almost like I am raising myself emotionally, as well as trying to provide that support and balance, and emotional maturity for the children, which is a whole thing, right? So I think that's why it was important for me to make this video, because we have to be very honest about how much our brains can take in any day, in any one day, how much information input, stimulation we can actually handle on an everyday basis, and how much we actually have to be very aware of how overstimulated we are in order for us to step away from all of it, in order for us to say, like, it's time for me. And can we just talk about it? Sometimes the breaks are not enough. Like, I feel like because our brains are overstimulated, and that's just how our brains, like how our stuff receives information. But I do have some tactics for y'all, because I think there's a way that we can change it. There's a way that we can change the ways that our nervous system receives information. You're off for 2 weeks. Yes, deep cleaning, throat, yes. Oh, that's wonderful. Kids, faith, work, personal goals, health, declutter home. Listen, that's the issue, right? The key that you just said there, hard to work on it all at once. Can we talk about the days fly by, Emily? Like, I'm thinking about just like my regular days. I'm like, yesterday we didn't leave the house till like 1, although I was trying to leave the house earlier than that. And then by the time we got home, it was already 4. Like, and then I started making dinner, and then it was over. So how do you also work on the overstimulation, the clutter, the faith, the personal goals, the business, the partner, if you have a partner, the keeping the stuff clean, the house clean. If you have pets, that's another thing. I'm always like, if this would be one less distraction, one less stimuli, but here I am with pets. What else? Everything. And if you're anything like me, like as I'm doing all those things, I'm also thinking about the things that I'm not doing. So when I'm with the kids, I'm like, fuck, there's these things that I'm not doing that I should be doing. Or, for example, my cleaning lady last month needed to reschedule, and she came at the 3-week mark instead of the 2-week mark. And I was like, well, that's fine. It's going to work out perfectly. At the 2-week mark, I was like, I'm dying, because now I have to also deep clean the house while I'm also taking care of the kids. They're on summer vacation. I didn't put them in camp, like all this stuff. So it's like a constant like turmoil in my head of the shit that I'm not doing. Woo! While I'm also doing the things that are stimulating my brain a little too much. Jesus, a lot. Yes, but make sure you give yourself some grace, and that you don't have to tackle them all at once, and that you can give yourself a pause, because your kids are doing well, and that's most important, right? Like making sure they're doing, they're okay, they're fine. And I think that sometimes as moms, we put so much more pressure on ourselves because we are the mom, because you're our kids, and there's so much expectation. And I used to say like, oh, societal expectations, but I don't even like have that. I think it's just more personal expectations, like expectations of how my kids should be, like expectations of like what my role is in their lives, like expectations from me and how serious that expectation is, and that responsibility is, like the expectation of the responsibility. And also to be a present parent, which is also another thing, right? Like, how do you also be a present parent all the time when you are dealing with so many things at once, and your children are part of that stimulation that irritates you sometimes, right? Drives you off the wall, okay? Although love them and everything, but my brain be like, girl, you need a timeout. You need a whole timeout. All right, so we carry a lot of responsibility. So let's just give ourselves grace, because it is minute to minute, day to day, month to month, year to year, and responsibilities change as your children change as well. Every phase of your children's lives is a different need of you. They need you differently in different stages. So when they were little, my house was more and more cluttered because there was a lot of little toys around. There was like, I just wanted to create a space that was fun for them. Like I wasn't like let's keep everything clean, mom. I wasn't like the mom that was like, let's clean up the toys before we go to bed. I wasn't. Have I learned my lesson a lot about that? Yes. Do I want to recommend to other moms to get into that routine, because then your kids will get into that routine? Yes. Do it early when they're young. So every phase of their life will require a different attention from you, and in return you will be stimulated in different ways because of it. So they had some issues in school this year, and boy was I overstimulated, because I was like, I can't understand what's happening, like that's not how I'm raising you at home. And so then I had to like start learning about different parenting techniques, or like learning about behaviors and why kids do certain things, and I still couldn't figure out like why the fuck they were doing it. And I was like, you know what, y'all doing it just because y'all doing it, because there's no other reason that we can pinpoint as to why this is happening. Okay. Thankfully behaviors subsued, and they're fine, and they're much better now. But every stage, what I want to say is every stage requires a different you. Every stage requires different resources from you, and that's key to remember that. So let's talk about the common symptoms and how do you know you're overstimulated. So for every person is going to be different. But for me, it's definitely stress. So feelings of stress, of like just going around the clock. I know I've said many times in many of my other videos this week, like the hamster wheel. Sometimes that's how I feel, like it's going. And just like that list you made, Emily, it's almost like that, like I'm doing this, but I gotta be over there doing the other thing. And I'm like trying to rush through things and do this and that and the other thing and do it all at once. So that creates stress. It creates stress. It creates anxiety for me as well. Like because of that whole like go. Everyone needs me. Mom. Now I'm hungry. I'm like, I left a whole tray of vegetables on the counter, but I'm hungry for other things. Or like yesterday made a whole dinner for the kids. I'm so proud of myself. I made like 2 different meals because I also had to make my own special meal. And then my kid didn't eat his dinner, one of them, because we're having an issue with his eating. And then at like 9 or something, he's like, I'm hungry. I was like, well, you're going to eat an orange. That's what you're going to eat, because I made you a whole dinner and you didn't eat it. So it creates that stress, anxiety, because I'm always like, is this kid going to eat his food? What's happening? Blah, blah, blah. And then there's the irritation. I was going to say what the heck is the other word? Irritability, right? Irritability. Because as you're doing things, and again, pressures on your own self, expectations of your own, overstimulation of your senses, being needed all the time, being the only adult, you can't just give a pass to someone else, like tag you it, like you handle this situation, or the kids are arguing. For example, yesterday we were in the car and I was like breathing through the whole thing, and then I was like, y'all need to figure this out. But if I had another adult in the house, another adult in the car, it would have been an easy like tag you're it, like you handle this one, right? So when it's you 100% of the time, the stimulation is 100% of the time. I was like, Zoila, you know better, you know the skills, you know the techniques, and then you still get irritated because you're just like, my God, like seriously. And I'm not even mad at them. I'm mad at the fact that I'm reacting to them. Like I'd be mad at the fact that like my nervous system is like on overload. Like my nervous system is like alert. I'm like, nothing's happening. Like everything's going to be okay. But I'm not even upset at them. I'm upset about how my body is reacting to the situation. I'm also upset that like I am the only adult, right? Like I just gotta drive this car and tell the kids that I'm about to stop in the middle of the road if they don't shut the F up, right? Like things like that. I'm always like, whoo, breathe through that, girl. Breathe through that, okay? Breathe through that. All right. So restlessness is another one. Restlessness, you just feel like you can't shut your mind off. You can't shut it off. Like I sleep well, but there are some nights where I'm like, I wake up in the middle of the night like, all right, what's happening tomorrow again? What are we planning for tomorrow? How am I going to keep these kids safe tomorrow? So that restlessness part is important. I think the other night, actually, I meant to go to bed early and couldn't close my eyes until 3 a.m. Partly because I drank coffee at 5 p.m. But y'all know I love coffee. I just love the taste of coffee. And no, I cannot do decaf. It's just not the same. And also they put so many chemicals in decaf coffee to take the caffeine out that I'm like, I might as well not drink it. So that's why I stay away from it. But let's get back to it. So restlessness. So stop drinking coffee late at night, late in the afternoon, and get your rest in, even if it's during the day. Yeah, I know, Charlie, I know. Girl, I'm to blame. I can't even blame the kids for that one. I can't blame stress. I can blame stress for having me drink it at 5 p.m., but I have to blame the coffee for keeping me up so late, because then I was like, I can't. It depends on the coffee you drink at 5 p.m., it keeps you up different. Like, you'll be up different. And you can feel it. Like, your nervous system is reactive to it. So yeah. All right, let's go. Woo! My coffee's iced coffee today. So, you have difficulty concentrating. You have difficulty concentrating because you're trying to do 1,000 things at once. Your brain is trying to catch on to, like, the one thing that you need to be doing now, but, like, you can't concentrate on that one thing because you're being pulled and tugged in other ways. The reason why I changed my lives to 9 a.m., which they're hurting me a little bit on weekends. I'm like, I might have to change this to at least 10 on a Saturday and a Sunday, okay? But part of that was because at 1 p.m. it was hard for me to have gone through the morning with the kids and then kind of like stop my day midway and like concentrate on what I was doing. So I rather do it now that I'm less stimulated in the morning before they're up, and then that way I do this and then we're done with the live. May I also say, though, that as soon as we wake up, like, our brains are already on overload because we're already thinking about all the things that we're doing. We're already, like, overstimulated without even being stimulated yet because we're thinking about the things that will be having us. It's a whole issue, y'all. It's a go problem. I'm like, you think about the issue that's going to be the issue later, but it ain't an issue right now, but you're just thinking about it. Yeah, like, I'm already thinking about, like, I need to take these kids outside today, like, all that stuff. Okay, let's move on, y'all. Let's move on. All right, fatigue. Definitely fatigue. You're going to feel tired. I used to do my lives at like 8, 9 o'clock, 9:30. And I realized that I was just, like, I could see it in my eyes. My eyes would just be, like, droopy and stuff because I'd just be tired. Like, when your brain is overstimulated, your nervous system is overstimulated, your whole body, like, changes. Your whole, like, your energy changes because you've been through it, like, all day. So you're done at this point. So fatigue is important because even when we're tired, we have to keep going, right? Like, because, again, we're all the only adult in the house, and we're also working on regulating our emotions while we're also helping our kids regulate their emotions. We're tired, y'all. We are tired. So you're getting the best of me right now. Like, check on me at 5, and I'll let you know how I'm doing, okay? But we be tired, y'all. The sensory overload is very, very serious. It's very real. For me, it's things like sound. I try not to be overstimulated with touch because I do want to have, like, I want to hug on my kids. I want to love them. And my kids are not tuggers. You know, like, some moms have infants and toddlers that, like, tug at them. Like, mom. My kids have never been that kind of kid, so that's really good. But for me, it's like sometimes it's really like my kid be running around the house at 9 p.m. and I'll be like, you should be in bed. But that's what he's doing to regulate his energy, right? Can we talk about having overstimulated parents raising overstimulated children? Because that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother video, okay? So he's got his technique, but then his technique annoys me, right? I'm like, why are you running? You should be in bed. Or like, didn't I tell you to go to bed 5 minutes ago? Or like, why are you walking? Why are you stomping? Why are you chewing? Why? Why? Everything the whys, okay? And let's also be very honest with ourselves that some of these it's common in people to be overstimulated, people with sensory processing challenges have an issue or are overstimulated a lot. So folks with ADHD or autism or trauma, as I'm learning now about our nervous system and how our nervous system has been programmed because some of our childhood stuff that then has our nervous system reacting in certain ways, okay? So I wanted to mention that. So these are some things that I do to cope, okay? So I breathe, y'all. I breathe a lot. You see me in the car driving and you see me breathing, it's because my kids are in the back doing something that they know I can't get to right away. I do the 4-7 technique, and that has actually really helped me. So it's when you breathe in for 4 seconds, and then you hold for 7, and then you breathe out for 8. So you breathe in for 4 seconds, and this is not easy to do when you're also counting at the same time, okay? You're like, and then you lose track of counting. So at this point, I don't even count, because I'm like, we ain't gonna do that, okay? So breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and then when you're releasing the breath, you're counting to 8. And that has worked a lot, because it helps regulate your thinking. It helps to regulate your thinking, your thoughts. It helps to regulate your senses as well. Even better if you're in a place where you can close your eyes and breathe, which leads me to my third point, but I'm gonna not say right now. And then the walking away, y'all. The walking away is important, and it's something that I'm teaching my kids as well. Like, listen, if you're feeling just a little bit overstimulated, like, it's okay for you to excuse yourself from the group. Overthinker, listen. Let's not even go there. I've been better about, like, okay, Zoe, like, is it that serious? Like, do you have to think about it that way, like, that much? You good? I have to always do this thing of, like, how important is this? How serious is this? How is it, like, what are the pitfalls to this? Like, me thinking about it, what is it gonna fix? What problem is it gonna fix? Yeah, the overthinking piece is serious too, because also your thoughts can be, overstimulating you as well. Like, stop it. All right, so walking away has helped me as well, and I say it out loud to my kids. Like, the other day we were sitting at my kitchen counter, and my oldest kid was just kicking. You know when you're sitting at the counter and the bottom part is like I don't want to say a wall, but the bottom part of your kitchen counter, and he's kicking it. And I don't know, it must have been like 7 or 8, y'all. So you already know I was on overload by that time, and I was just like, can you stop kicking that? What? And then for him, it's because he knows too, right? Like, kids know. He's like, what am I doing? Like, it's not that serious. Like, it's not that. He's 10, y'all. Going on like 13, 14, 15, 18. I don't know. And I'm like, can you stop that? Because it's bothering me. So I'm expressing it to him. Like, can you stop that? Because it's bothering me. Blah, blah. Because a lot of this is also communication, right? Like, being able to communicate your emotions and letting people know and naming it. Naming it. It's very, very important. He didn't stop. I was like, you know what? I can't deal with this right now. I just walked my butt outside. It was a nice day out. I ate my food at the porch outside. And I was fine with that. And then he came out a few minutes later. He was like, Mom, why did you walk out? And I was like, because as I'm trying to teach you how to regulate yourself, I also have to practice what I teach. And I wasn't feeling very regulated at the time. I felt uncomfortable. My senses weren't really handling it well. And so I had to walk away. And so that's good too, for you to, the word is not practice, but for you to model the action, for you to model the practice is so important. So say that out loud. The meditation, which is related to the breathing, is important, because there are days when I don't meditate in the morning, and there's a difference in my reception of stimuli. As I'm learning more about meditation, on the scientific side, it really changes your brain. It changes your senses. It changes the way your brain communicates. It changes how you receive things. So I'm going to get into more deeper meditation, to get into like different levels of meditation, because it does help a lot to rewire. The word is rewire your whole system, y'all. Your whole system. So meditation is so important for you to get yourself, your body, your senses into like a meditative state. It's really, really helpful, and it has worked for me. So I can't wait to see what else it can do for me as I dig much more deeper into it. Being outdoors has helped me as well. walking. So when y'all see me like saying I gotta take these kids outside, I'm saying it because I gotta take my own kid outside, like myself outside. Because if I don't go out, if I don't get the fresh air, if I don't like, if I'm not around the sun, if I'm not moving my body, if I'm not walking, I feel the difference that day. So I try my best. Like yesterday we went outside, and just being outside made my life so much different, and theirs as well. Because think about kids just being in closed doors all the time. Like they also need to go outside. They also need to be moving their body. They also need to have space between us, because although my house is big enough where we could literally be living in different floors, my kids still decide to be in the same space as me, which I've heard is really good. It means that they like and enjoy being around you. But we also need to kind of like be outside where like there are no walls, there are no doors. It's just like we're out here, and it felt so nice to be near water, near very like green areas, near trees, and in the heat. Yesterday was hot, y'all, but it was nice to be outside. All right, let's keep it moving because I got a few more points, y'all. I didn't even think I was gonna have to have so much to say about this, but it's a real experience for me. It's something that I live day to day. Self-care, y'all. Self-care is so important. So I went to get a massage one day. This was about 8-9 months ago. So I was like, yeah, I just need to do something for myself, and it has to be this one thing that I do, blah, blah. So I went, and then they had this sale to become a member, and you get this. So I was like, sign me up. So I signed up. So try to make yourself like a member of something, like whether that's a member of a community, or you're a member of, a massage place, or you're a member of a meditative place, or meditation place, or you're a member of a yoga place. I would say gym, but I've been a member of a gym many times, and many times I have not pulled through with it. So make yourself part of something that you know is going to push you to get out there and do things that are going to be great for your self-care. Self-care is really, really important. And part of your self-care could also be like things you can do in the home. It could be getting away from your kids for a minute during the day. It could be your face routine. It could be how you care about your body. Like it could be a lot of different things, the self-care. But try to do it consistently. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed to get to it. Rather do it more consistently and often so that it becomes a routine for you. It becomes part of what you do and who you are. And that's so important, y'all. So important. Begin a hobby. Y'all know I love hobbies. I got too many hobbies, and I'm like, girl, stick to one hobby, please. However, it's so good for me because as I'm on sensory overload sometimes, it's good for me to kind of have one thing that I focus on that has nothing to do with other people, that it just has to do with me. I get to do this one thing without expecting any outcomes or results. It's just a thing that I like to do. So get yourself one of those, whether it's indoors or outdoors. Again, depending on the resources you have available of people, money, places, things, like this could be different for each person. But find yourself something that you can do that is just for you, and that it's making things. Because sometimes that's helpful to like do things that where you end up with a product and you feel proud about it. Like, that's my hobby, y'all. Like, I do this for fun. Okay? Number 7, I said clutter already. We talked a little bit at the beginning. Clean your home. Charlie is please remind me, Charlie. Remind the audience here. What do? Your specific title is not clutter coach. It's I'm not gonna butcher it for y'all. You can say it. But every time I see Charlie's kitchen, I'm like, do you have people living there? Like, do you live there? Because, whoo! I've never seen a counter that doesn't counter the way Charlie's counter counters. But that's the goal, right? Like, that's why I have someone coming into the house to help me clean every 2 weeks. It's important for me to stay at least clean. And then the clutter, like I told the lady, I was like, I was gonna switch you up to every 3 weeks because I'm home now, blah blah. But y'all, every 3 weeks is with kids at home is even worse. And even 2 weeks is pushing it when kids are home all the time. There it is. Organizer and decluttering coach. Y'all, check her out. Her stuff be woo. Be like, girl. I'm just, yeah. So anyway, so I changed her. I was going to teach her to 3 weeks, and then I changed her to 2. I was going to teach her 3 weeks, and then she had a rescheduling thing, and we did 3 weeks, and I was like, there's no way. And even at 2 weeks, it's a long wait when your kids are home during the summer. So we're doing a lot of cooking. We're doing a lot of walking in and out of the house. They are in the living room a lot. So my living room will be a mess. Books, toys, blankets, pillows, couches. ¿Qué más? What else? And then I have 2 cats too. Yes, being able to outsource. And I'm ready. Although I enjoyed making dinner yesterday, but I don't enjoy the kitchen because I think it's an overstimulation for me. I'm like on sensory overload because one, I have to make the food. I have to make sure I feed it to the kids, like plate it for them. Then there's the cleanup part. Then it's the amount of times that I have to do it a day when I'm home with the kids all day. It's like they don't stop eating. Because I've been thinking about I need to outsource cooking. I need to outsource cooking because this ain't it. Cooking all this much ain't it. But now I think after yesterday I was like, oh, you know how you do something so many times and then it becomes a habit, it becomes a routine, and then doing it yesterday I felt like, oh, this isn't that bad because now it's become part of my daily routine. But I still want to outsource the thing, okay? Even if my body and my mind is getting like used to the routine and the habit of being in the kitchen, cooking, cleaning, blah blah blah, I still am looking to outsource that because no. This is my brain. This is me telling me no. This is what I talk to you about not to do. Like, don't tell your mind no because your mind will be like, no, right? All right, y'all. I'm getting better at the cooking. It's becoming a habit and a routine. But don't roll your eyes when you're saying it like I just did. Okay? All right, let's do this. Create a calm environment, people. This has to do a lot with the breathing, the self-care, the being outdoors, the balance, the this, the that, the that, the that. The decluttering. Like, you have to create a calm environment. For me, sometimes a calm environment is legit. My kids have these sound blocking headphones. Sometimes I be the one wearing them at home, at the house, and I'm okay with that. So I have one child that gets more overstimulated than the other, and we got them for him. So he wears them sometimes he's like annoyed by his brother. I'm like, that's your brother. We live in the same house. You either have to move to another room, which often they don't want to do. Isn't it funny? We get annoyed, but we don't want to move away. You either have to move away from him, go to another part of the house, or you can sit there with your noise canceling headphones. That's a solution for you. So always trying to figure out solutions. That's part of the emotional regulation. Like, what is the solution? Instead of being really stuck in the cycle of how you're feeling and that emotion at that time, like, what can you be doing to regulate that emotion at that moment? So part of what the plans that I have him on is he also has the headphones. So anyway, some days it's me wearing the headphones at home. Yesterday I was watching TV. They happened to be, I don't watch TV a lot in the living room because they're in the living room a lot. And I was watching this Disney movie that also it's on Disney Plus, but it had some adult stuff in. I know, I just feel like Disney Plus is not really Disney anymore, which is why the plus. So I was watching this movie, which I highly recommend. It's called Flaming Hot. It's the story about the guy that created the Flaming Hot Cheetos, the hot Cheetos. So I highly recommend it. And of course I'm trying to listen to it, and then I have one of my other children playing a video game, but he's playing it with someone else on the other side, and he's listening. He's talking out loud. I'm like, hey, can you just lower your voice, please? He's not lowering his voice. And I was like, I need my headphones. So I put the headphones on, and then I was like, but this defeats the purpose because now you can't hear the television, Zoila. Y'all, that was a moment. I was like, but now I can't hear the TV. What the heck is happening? Okay, anyways. So create a calm environment, y'all. For me, sometimes it means like really having my AirPods on, in my ear, either listening to some breathing techniques, listening to meditation, listening to motivational audio, listening to podcasts, and also listening to books. I, as you know, because of my sensory things that I have going on, I also do not sit and read a book from front to back. It takes me a while. Like, I have to pick it up a couple of times in order for me, because it's also an attention issue for me. I'll rephrase that. I have not yet discovered, practiced enough, made it a habit to read a book from front to end without needing to stop a few times in one sitting, without needing to reread some of the things, without needing to put it away for just a few days and pick it up again. So for me, the most information I can get is through listening to stuff. And it has a lot to do with me being an auditory learner as well. Like, I learn best by hearing and seeing, although not reading. Or writing or anything, y'all. I struggled through my doctorate program, but that's a whole nother video. Set boundaries, peeps. Set boundaries. I can't believe I've been on here this long. I didn't know this was going to happen. So set your boundaries. Set boundaries with people. Set boundaries with kids. Set boundaries with schedules. Set boundaries at work. Set boundaries. If you don't set those boundaries and stay firm with them and respect those boundaries so other people can respect them as well, then you will be we will be talking about this again later, because overstimulated folks that are also not emotionally regulated, if we have no boundaries, guess what? If we have no boundaries, then just think about it. You got no boundaries, you got no walls up, you got nothing. So like, everything's coming at you all the time, and then the people that need you, your priority is your kids, but then everybody else is kind of secondary. So it might be a parent, a partner, friends, whatever it is, but like, you need to set boundaries also according to how you're feeling that day. So I used to think I was an extrovert, and I think I still am. I think I still can like do both, but I think I was more an extrovert because it was a survival technique for me. Like, I needed to survive the world, so I needed to be an extrovert. But the more I learned about myself, I'm like, I'm probably more of an introvert, or I'm so overstimulated when I'm around a lot of too many extroverters, socially confident folks, that then I just need to like kind of take a break. So some of my boundaries are, now that I know that I feel most comfortable and less overloaded if I also have a lot of time where I'm not around a lot of stuff like that. And I wasn't like this before kids. That's the other thing, y'all. Moms do change when they have kids, because now you've got so much sensory overload at home that you just be tired when you gotta go socialize. So I set some boundaries. I set them not, against anyone else. It's just like, I need to stay also sane, and like, I gotta do things that work for me. So if I'm having a hard day one day and I'm already invited to somewhere and I just don't feel like it's the best place for me, or I'm not gonna be the most, yes, I think I am, or I'm not the most, gonna be the most efficient at that event, or I'm just probably not gonna enjoy it as much because I'm over it, I just be like, you know what, I'm gonna sit this one out and I'm gonna be okay with that. As a single parent, those are sacrifices that we've been, oh, it's my phone, I'm like, what is that? It's things that as parents we learn about ourselves too. Like, we just we go with the flow, and what it's gonna work for you. So different things are gonna work for different people. Ask for help. This one should have been number one. Ask for help. So as a single parent, it's been really hard. And also a single parent that is also a high achiever. Can we talk about this? I was a high achiever before kids, and now that I have kids, I'm like, I got expectations, and I got expectations for my kids, and but I need breaks, right? Like, I can't achieve it all at once all the time. I can't achieve. You hear me saying I can't? I can. However, I do need to balance it out and have a strategy for it, okay? So the reason I say that is because when you're parenting alone, you feel as though overwhelmed. The word is overwhelmed. We feel overwhelmed a lot of the time because of everything we have to juggle, because of the responsibility we have to ourselves, but also to our children and to generations after them, because we're not doing it just for us, we're doing it for them and the future, to leave that impact, whatever that impact is for each of us. Excuse me. So I say that to say the next thing is that we also need to ask for help. We need to ask for help. Sometimes we are going to have to ask for help. I struggled, y'all, when my kids were young and they were on diapers, and one of them was on formula. That was a lot. daycare at at an age where they're not in school yet. So I struggled a lot financially. I struggled emotionally, physically. It was also at the very, beginning of the stage of like realizing like, oh snap, this is my destiny. Like now I'm a single parent. This other dude is not co-parenting. Like what the heck am I gonna do? And so it took a lot of me from me. It taught me a lot about my resilience, obviously, which is why we're still here, alive and well. But if I wasn't, because I had my mom who was there helping, and that's why I want people to know that they can ask for help. Even if you got an aunt and uncle, like start asking for help. Sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's other moms that have children that understand where you are and how you feel. Friends, family, like ask for the help, whether it's the finances, the time, the taking your kids for a minute, taking your kids on a play date, whatever it is. That's a whole nother layer though, because if you're protective around your kids because of experiences you've had as a child, and you want to protect them from stuff, but also you want to protect them from the world, because there's a lot of messed up folks out in this world. That's a whole nother thing about like how and who you ask for help. So for me, it was always my mom. Like I always trusted my mom, and then I trusted a few other folks who kind of cared for my kids when I was in my doctoral program, and I trusted this daycare lady who had both of my kids at one point. She had a home daycare. So, and she was a family friend already to begin with. So ask for help. Find people, things, places. Like you're gonna ask for help because there's help out here for us. Sometimes it's our ego. Sometimes it's I gotta do this. Sometimes it's what will they think of me if I ask for help. Sometimes it's all the things. But honestly, I will tell you this: if I would not have asked for help and had the help, my life would be very different right now. Like, I don't know I would have done it without my mom being a present grandma who, like, had my kids when I couldn't be with them, when I was working on my doctorate. What else? Right now she's mad because now they're, like, kind of more independent. She's like, are you going to bring the kids over? I'm like, you want these kids? I'm going to bring them to your house. Even now, I have to remind myself, I still got my mom. I can drop off these kids to her and go do something with my life. So that goes back to the self-care piece, etc. Connect with other moms. That's part of it too. Start socializing with other moms that understand what you're going through. I can't talk about being a single parent to other moms that are not single parents. I can't. It's not the same. It ain't the same. And I have to also say, it depends on what your parenting structure is, because I know some parents consider, or I have my own definition of what a single parent is. Other people have a definition of what single parenting is for them. Some people have two parents living in the house and would still say that they're single parents because they're the ones with all the responsibilities. They're the ones on sensory overload. They're the ones that are doing everything for the kids, right? And then there are parents who are single parents and co-parent, so their kids can go to the other parents. The moms have days off, days to themselves, etc. So there is different structures, and people describe single parenting differently. I don't even know. Oh, so connecting to other moms is important. Other moms that are in your situation, because for example, I can connect to moms, obviously, because we're moms, but I connect differently to single moms who are the only parent mom, right? Versus connecting to parents who are single parents but they're co-parenting. Because in my mind, I'm like, you're co-parenting. You got help. Like, there's something that's not right about this picture. And I'm working through that myself, because I'm like, you also don't have to, like, discriminate against them or not be friends with them because of it. But our situations are not the same. So our connections are going to be different. And that's okay too. But connecting to moms that you can relate to is very, very important. And that could be on the single mom journey. That can be on, like, parenting overstimulated children. That could be on your experience as an overstimulated mom. That could be on you being a Latina mom. That could be on anything. But they connect with other moms that understand the challenges of parenting, because whether you're a single mom or not, or co-parenting, or in a two parent household, parenting ain't easy, y'all. And I think that it's even harder when you're needing to parent with someone else that might have different parenting skills with you. I always think about that. Like, would I have rather be a single mom, which is my current situation, co-parent with someone that I'm going to be arguing with about how they are parenting my kids? Or was it going to be better if they were in the house and we were arguing about like how he's parenting my kids or how he's disciplining my children? Like, I always think about that. Zoila, like, was this a blessing and you just don't know it? You just be acting like it ain't a blessing, okay? The other one is limit and I'm going to leave y'all after this. The other one is limit exposure to your phone, y'all. Sometimes I have to verbally tell myself, Zoila, put the phone down. Zoila, that's it. That's about enough. I'm doing it. As you can see, I haven't been as active on Instagram in the past few days because I'm really being intentional about, all right, you use this account for business, right? Yes. Okay. Have you done what you need to do for your business today? Yes. Okay. Then why are you still scrolling through Instagram? That's it. Like, that's it. Before I had this business account, I have a private account who I have like 118 followers on, I think. I have to double check. Not more than 200 followers. And there was years of my life where I didn't use it at all. Like, I wasn't on Instagram. There was years of my life where I wasn't on Facebook. Like, I came back on Instagram because I started this business. That was in was that end of 20? I think it was end of 20. So I don't need to be scrolling on these social media streets forever, all day, every day. And some people are not very real on social media either. So the stimuli overload for me on social media is that visual stimuli, which I think I talked a little bit earlier about. That visual stimuli is very serious for me. Like the sounds, the colors, the things, like everything, the fast moving pictures, like I have to be very aware of how I'm stimulated through my eyes as well. And sometimes it'd be like just my kids moving. I'd be like, oh God, I am visually overstimulated right now. So understanding those triggers for you is important. And sometimes it means putting your phone down, using your phone for what you need, giving yourself some time limits on how and when you're using your phone so that you're not overstimulated as much all the time. So yes, any questions, peeps? Hopefully that was helpful. As I have my notes and but now that I have you here, I can probably, where's my phone? Oh, it's right here. I can probably search for that picture that I wanted to show you. If you have any questions while I search for this picture, let me see, library, years, oh my, 2018. I can't remember what year it was now. I can't remember. And then it's hard to get pictures when my kids are not in it. My child. Where is it? Oh my God. So talk about clutter. Hold on. No, this is not a good one because my kid's in it too. Oh, no problem. Thank you. Thank you, Charlie. I know. My house doesn't look like this. I promise, Charlie. The one that I'm going to show you. But of course now I can't find it. No, I can't find it. It was a picture of my kitchen. I was like, how telling of where I was in life at that time. It was not it was a short time after my separation. Again, when you're not doing well mentally, when you're not doing well, when you're not really regulated in your emotions, like, life is hard, y'all. I'm not going to lie about that and the thing is that you don't see it until you step out of the picture, which is why I'm so excited about this new training that I did, because it's going to help me so much in my coaching, because it helps with us practicing, like, how do we step out of the picture and to analyze and to really look inward to how we're feeling, what we're doing, etc. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna show you this one because I think it's so freaking cute. This was in June of 2018, but I think I want you to see my baby in his boots. Look at my baby and my boots. Oh, you can't see him. Oh. Anyways, he's adorable. But the clutter in the background is very it's wild. I can't believe I was living under that clutter. But yeah, it's a real thing. Now I know that I need to, in order to upkeep, I have to get help, right? And if that means it's paid help, then that's gonna be what it's gonna be. It's gonna be paid help. Y'all, I can't find the picture. I'm so sad. Maybe I'm not looking in the right album. Years. Was it 2019? Was they still in the old house in 2019? Let me see. I might have been. Anyways, y'all, I can't show y'all because I can't find that. I'm not going to go crazy over it. Hi, Melissa. Ah! All right, so I'm out. Thank you so much for staying here with me as I went through all of this. But this felt really good to talk about. It is something that is unseen, and it's also something that we don't talk a lot about amongst ourselves. We don't share techniques. We don't share practices that have worked for us. We also don't support one another in the journey. And there's so much support that is needed through it all. So I'll leave you with that. For those that stayed here with me this whole time, thank you. For those of y'all that are going to be watching the replay or that have watched the replay, thank you as well. And I will check you later. There is a sign up for my 5-day challenge that's coming up. And the more I think I talk about overstimulation, I think I'm going to change. I'm going to be changing the 5-day challenge, the focus of the 5-day challenge. Sign up anyways to stay on the wait list so that when that information on dates and topics come out, you'll be the first one to know about it. I will be out. I'm out now. I told myself today I'm going to record a podcast episode because I haven't recorded one in, I don't know, maybe a month or two. It's been a while, y'all. So I need to get back to recording because part of me being home this summer was June 3rd was the last episode I posted. So I'm about to be a month tomorrow. So it's about time. Part of my plan staying home was, Zoila, you're also going to record, right? You're going to amp up your podcast a little bit. So I have to do some of that as well. So maybe I'll do that now before the kids are up again. Maybe they're already up. Who knows? But yeah, y'all. But it gets better. I know when they were young, it wasn't better. When they were young, it was like, what the F and how we're going to make this work. And it gets much better. Now they're a little bit more independent. They get up. Like, I'm not worried about, are they going to run into something? Or is stuff unsafe in the house? Like, now that we've gotten into a routine and a lifestyle, things are much, much better. Okay, I will do that, Ems. I'll do that. All right, peeps. Thank you. Bye.